This is not just the story of a country. This is the story of a civilization that existed before the modern world understood history itself. Before borders, before colonizers, before modern nations were imagined, there was India, a land where civilization did not suddenly appear, but slowly evolved through thousands of years of human experience. More than 5,000 years ago, along the banks of ancient rivers, people in the Indian subcontinent were already living in organized cities. The Indus Valley Civilization was not primitive, it was planned. Straight roads, advanced drainage systems, standardized construction. While much of the world struggled to survive, India was learning how to live together. This was India then. As centuries passed, India became more than a place. It became an idea. Here, zero was invented, not just as a number, but as a concept that would later power global mathematics and science. Here, astronomy studied the skies, medicine studied the human body, and philosophy questioned existence itself. Yoga and Ayurveda were not trends, they were ways of life. Empires rose and fell across the subcontinent. The Mauryas unified vast lands. The Guptas created a golden age of science and art. Knowledge flowed freely through institutions like Nalanda, attracting scholars from across Asia. India was connected to the world through trade long before globalization had a name. Spices, textiles, and ideas traveled from Indian ports to distant civilizations. For centuries, India was one of the richest regions on Earth. Then, history changed direction. Foreign powers arrived, first as traders, then as rulers. What began as commerce slowly turned into control. British colonial rule reshaped India in devastating ways. Industries were dismantled, wealth was extracted, famines followed. A land that once produced finished goods was reduced to supplying raw materials. India was no longer shaping the world, it was being exploited by it. This was India then. For nearly 200 years, the Indian people lived under foreign rule. Education was limited, poverty spread, progress slowed. Yet India did not disappear. Resistance grew, quietly at first, then openly. The freedom movement was not fought only with weapons, it was fought with ideas, protests, sacrifice, and unity. Ordinary people became part of extraordinary history. In 1947, India became independent, but freedom came with pain. Partition divided the land overnight. Millions were displaced, families were torn apart. The new nation was born wounded, poor, and uncertain. India inherited broken systems, weak infrastructure, and deep poverty. Food shortages were common. Bullock carts dominated transport. Electricity and education reached only a small part of the population. This was India then. Yet India made a decision that changed everything. Instead of dictatorship, it chose democracy. In a world where many newly independent nations collapsed, India chose debate, voting, and representation. The Constitution promised equality and rights to a population that had never known them. The early decades were not glamorous, they were slow and difficult. India focused on survival. Large institutions were built. Dams, steel plants, universities, and research centers formed the backbone of the new nation. Agriculture became a priority. The Green Revolution transformed food production. India slowly moved from dependence to self-sufficiency. Decades passed. India did not rise fast, it rose steadily. By the late 20th century, the world began to notice change. Indian doctors, engineers, and scientists started shaping global industries. Then came a turning point. In the 1990s, India opened its economy. Reforms introduced competition and global trade. Opportunities expanded. Technology entered offices. Telecom connected millions. The internet erased distance. This was the beginning of now. Cities transformed. Ancient temples stood beside glass towers.
Tradition and technology walked side by side. India's population, once seen as a burden, became its strength. A young generation entered the workforce, ambitious, connected, determined. Infrastructure expanded rapidly. Highways replaced dusty roads. Metro systems transformed urban life. The same land once defined by bullet carts now built expressways and smart cities. India's space program became a symbol of confidence. With limited budgets and extraordinary efficiency, India launched satellites, reached Mars, and touched the moon. The message was clear. India was no longer behind. This was India now. By the 21st century, India became one of the world's largest economies. Startups flourished. Innovation replaced imitation. Digital systems transformed banking, governance, and daily life. A farmer could access information. A student could reach global knowledge. India's voice grew stronger on the global stage. Trade expanded. Diplomacy deepened. A nation once ruled by others was now shaping global conversations. By 2026, India stands at a powerful moment in history. Ancient roots beneath its feet, modern ambition in its eyes. A civilization that survived invasion, colonization, poverty, and division now moves forward with confidence. From the Indus Valley to digital cities, from colonial exploitation to space exploration, from survival to influence, India did not just survive history, it rewrote it. This is India, then and now.